So my project, Butterfly Bjerres Effect, that I want to introduce here is about making the perspective of butterflies somehow approachable for humans, for the visitors that visit this art installation. It's a collaborative art science project that I did with a team of collaborators in the natural sciences and with my team at the Science Visualization Lab of the University of Applied Arts in Vienna. So we are right neighbors here of this beautiful place, and you can see in the slide one of the shots of an exhibition that we did this summer in Vienna, where visitors experiencing the caterpillar, the chrysalis stage and the butterfly stage through virtual reality classes. So let's see if this works. Oh, or I have to ask. I don't know. So the key topic of this installation is that we want to engage the people with different perspectives and also give them the chance to think of the perspective of insects in general. And we picked the butterfly because it is a very beautiful insect and very engaging and not so disturbing than other. This was not so disturbing than other insects for some people. So I like all insects, but some people are more attracted to butterflies than to other insects. So the installation has virtual reality, also a soundscape that we will hear afterwards in the documentation video, and a large ultra-high resolution print of Michael Bachhofer, who did a large print where you can really see the scales of the butterfly. And the installation picked a best species, more or less, so the cabbage white, very known to gardeners, because we wanted to say that also every species in the loss of biodiversity counts now. So it was very important to me to pick this species as a best species because it's also important. Yeah. So more or less the installation is about raising awareness and teaching people about the beauty of the world and also different perspectives. So I now want to show documentation video of the installation. So, thank you. Maybe full screen if this is possible.
Cabbage white butterflies form 2 to 6 generations a year, depending on the climate. In warmer regions there are more generations. Climate change has effects on the number of generations a year. A generation are all 4 stages from egg to butterfly. The eggs are usually on the underside of the leaf, in small groups, so the cabbage white butterfly need large, strong brassica plants. Because these plants are not so common inland, they might appear on cultivated cabbage plant species. The cabbage white butterfly has multiple migration strategies. Not every generation migrates, but it might be of evolutionary advantage to do so. The big and the small cabbage white butterflies are difficult to distinguish, especially in photos, because the centimeter ruler would have to be photographed. At the upper side of the wings, the apex blackening, the black tip, is more expanded in the large cabbage white butterfly. That's the only way to tell the difference between small and large cabbage white butterflies on photos. On close-ups it is even harder to tell them apart. In ecology, from a bird's point of view, the insects are there to be bird feed. For a stable population you only need 1 male and 1 female butterfly from one species to breed again. Most insects use a strategy of over-reproduction. The population dynamics can get out of balance, that is why we need a diversity of insects. Ecology has a balance. The birds need insects to raise their young. The butterfly chrysalis are also eaten. If insects are gone, there will be no more birds or bats. You could say we could sacrifice the outer leaves of our cabbage for songbirds instead of injecting poison, and therefore also poisoning ourselves. The most important thing ecologically, Einstein is said to have said that if the bees die out, we humans will also die out after 5 years. That might not be exactly true, but the logic behind it is right. The bee is a flagship symbol, so to speak.
So maybe we can stop for a minute, because I wasn't told that I can stop the video during the presentation. I just wanted to say also a big distinguishing feature of the Science Visualization Lab is that we also work always with data of the natural sciences. So we had a collaboration with biologists and have micro-CT scans of the butterfly eggs and use this for the installation. This may be something that is very important. And also the starting point of this project was a documentary production by Steve Nichols, a BBC a documentary producer who wanted to have visual effects shots for his project and did approach us because he knew that we can do this with scans from biologists. Yeah. So if the time is still on, we can finish the video. Otherwise, yeah, we can also stop.
You have 3 more minutes.
A strong pollinator. It visits many flowers and has a proboscis with which it drinks nectar. The adult cabbage white butterflies like to suck on various plants such as lavender blossoms, thyme, thistles. Butterflies in captivity often do not mate because they need the arousal curve, flying around, courtship behavior. The dance of cabbage white butterflies is well known to gardeners. The primary habitat of the large cabbage white butterfly is along the coastal regions of the North Baltic Sea, because there is a lot of space on the beaches but little competition among the plants, and there is the so-called sea mustard which belongs to the cabbage relatives, Brassicae. This is the original forage plant of cabbage white butterflies. There you can see the sandy beach that is flooded during storm surges. The plant is also salt tolerant. The plants that are large in the groups of cabbage white butterfly caterpillars can thrive. Why we shouldn't eradicate the cabbage white butterfly? There is the argument of the gene flow, germline, that evolution has developed over millions of years. Every living being that disappears is a huge loss. The preservation of pest species is also an end in itself because we never know whether properties that have evolved evolutionary in this way are useful in the future. Insects might show us new compounds in pharmacy and biochemistry. First, butterflies are important recyclers and pollinators. Second, to preserve a species has ethical implications. Third, they have huge ecological importance. Insect die-off is mainly caused by agricultural monocultures. Butterflies and moths, Lepidoptera, are also enormously successful. 1 in every 10 animals on Earth is a butterfly or moth. Points against insect extinction. Fallow land that functions as flowering meadows and is only mowed 1 to 2 times a year. Fewer people through education but better social structures and better lives for all humans. Greening of agriculture, away from spraying poison, multi-field farming, restrict fertilizers, other seeds that are more robust and less productive but healthier. Away from a homogenization of the landscape, let your own garden be more of a garden, more flowering plants, stinging nettles in a corner, wild corners. Niches for insects also in the city, balconies and parks with flowering plants with nectar. Nature reserves are not enough because the genetic diversity collapses if there is not enough space. Change laws that make the country liable if something is not road, because speed limits would make much more sense. Dash roads and roadsides are important habitats for insects. Construction principles that humans would not have thought of might be discovered in insects.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, I would be happy that you approach me about the project or about the Science Visualization Lab or whatever. We also have tomorrow a discussion group about different project. So I will be around here the whole conference. Thank you.
Thank you.